Hello viewers, this is Machuga Nyariego TV talk show where we analyze socio-economic and political as well as governance issue relating to our community, right from the locality, local level, national as well as international. Today I will focus on the Ruto's finance bill of 2024-2025. Of course, for those who have been following both the social and mainstream media, there have been demonstrations around the National Assembly by the members of the public. I will focus specifically on the reasons as to why a large number of Kenyans turned out for the demonstrations. But before we proceed, kindly, if you are watching this video or a channel for the first time, subscribe so that whenever we produce another video, YouTube will automatically notify you. And for our resident subscribers, thank you for your continued support, and kindly share, watch, so that we can have more and more of our friends joining us so as to benefit from these noble ideas. We normally call this channel a house. Literally, we call it a house of ideas. Back to our finance bill. For weeks now, we have been discussing about the disputed finance bill. Right from it was put out for public participation, members of the public had some concerns on the finance bill, more especially on taxation. I've made about 4 episodes on finance bill and what is expected. If you find time, you can just go to this channel, that's Machuga Nyariego TV talk show, and see our proposal and what we had predicted. Ruto's finance bill is not the first to be rejected in Kenya during the budget reading. I will be lying the public to say that it is the first, but it is the first one to be rejected by a mass population, that is by the members of the society who are willingly demonstrating on their own. If there are members sponsored by the politicians, for example, could be a significant figure, but most of them, even those who followed the demonstrations on social media and the mainstream channels and any other form of channel, you could see that even those who are not there, if they had an opportunity to be there, they could as well have participated. Previously, finance ministers have had headache in presenting their budget statement, including Musalia Mudavadi, Simeon Nyanchai. I remember when Orekabaro was the minister, the Speaker of National Assembly in the previous constitutional order, James Orengo, who is currently the governor for Siaya, was very tough in parliament. That's where, when even us who are very young, came to be used as, we came to use the terms like, or words like, order Mr. Orengo, because it was very tough during the times of budget reading. I can also remember when Simeon Nyachai was Minister for Finance, he also found it very rough reading or presenting his parliament, his finance bill in parliament, until he organized some MPs from Kisii, like Chimi Angwenyi, to defend him in parliament. And by then, Angwenyi was young and energetic. You could see how he could have defended him from the young people like James Orengo. So these demonstrations or wars were majorly done in parliament, and if they were done outside parliament with just a significant, very few people who were organized. But today things were different, because the proposals had touched the common mwananchi into, had fixed him to a corner. Like now, taxation, imposing taxation on bread, eggs, and many other essential commodities. So that's why they were fully involved in the demonstrations today. I want to give reasons as to why, even after or despite the fact that the Kenya Kwanza parliamentary meeting having assured them that the taxes had been done away with, they still went on the streets to sing that Ruto must go. One reason as to why they persisted throughout the day or the entire day doing demonstrations, one of them is because of the promises that were made by the UDA government, the UDA regime. They had given several promises, and the citizens during the last budget, most of them who were loyal then to the regime were saying, this is the first budget, let him come up with tax measures, because there was no money they had claimed, so that he can at least do or implement his plan. That's why they were cool, and that's why the mandamanos were in just a few specific areas. But this time, after one financial year, they realized that there was nothing. So they were simply worried, how can it that we saw nothing? They have said that the economy has stabilized and they want to increase more taxes. They simply said no. They are simply saying even today they don't want to see anything increased on their salaries. Maybe the government retains on the same, and it's good that the government has just done some adjustment, even though the members, the citizens, are still not happy. Another issue is on double speak. Even if other governments like America have also done the same, they promise citizens on ways through which they are going to improve their economy at reduced taxes. But immediately when some of them get into power, they continue with the tradition of increasing taxes time and again. I was reading a book on doublespeak, so I was able to see those countries that readers have done the same. The problem with our republic, even if they seem to be adding taxes, increase of taxes is not an issue in Kenya. You can increase even those that they are saying. Why Kenyans are worried, they are going to sleep minus food, but their taxes, which have been cut off their salaries, their sweat, have no value. They will go to places where they do not see. And another reason why the demonstrations persisted all over the day is because there was late communication to the citizens. If at all the government had gone through public participation and the Treasury and the chairman of parliamentary public finance had seen the issue, they should have communicated around 3 days ago that this issue and this issue will not be taxed. We have dropped because of the public taxation, or it is baseless. It has no law that will be implemented to enable it to become a law. So they should have done that long time ago. And another reason why the citizens cannot trust the government, the chief boss or the number one head of state has been saying that by the time he leaves office, he will have pushed taxation into 22%. When you want to increase taxes, don't keep on reminding someone that I take away your money. Taxes is like snatching somebody's money. So you show by action. Show us what you have done this year. Because in most cases, we are shown how revenue is collected, but how it is spent, it's a nightmare. Show us what you have done and what you need. If you need 100 dams, as the UDA government was saying, show us the 20 that have been constructed and the 80 that are remaining because of the deficit of the amount. Then you want to increase taxes. You will not hear anyone complaining. And when you want to increase taxes up to 22%, it should not be a song. So they cannot trust even when you say that we have reduced these taxation measures. They'll just think that it is the normal way of the UDA government, where they speak this and do that. Also, another reason as to why there have been demonstrations all over parliament is because of parliamentary capture. Most members, most citizens, because today we have a good number of educated people who are unemployed outside, jobless, hopelessness, are aware of what is taking place. That's why the other day you saw a member of parliament receiving up to 3,000 messages asking him or directing him to reject the proposed finance bill. This is because They are aware, and they believe that whereas the parliament or national assembly has parliamentary supremacy, as it is sovereignty, or as got it is protection on checks and balances, independent institution, you still find that it has been dominated by the executive, and they have allowed themselves to be dominated by the executive. So, members of the public felt that even though they have been promised, still members have been dominated by the executive. They are not comfortable that the members of parliament will use their rationality to do the voting. That's why they have been singing throughout the day. So there is that aspect of independence of institutions that is lacking in our country or in our nation. Institutions have flagged their independence. That's why they cannot be trusted. That's why they are not even trusting that the members of parliament, even though they make amendments, they will be heard. And they have decided to use their direct sovereignty, their direct way of communication through picketing, demonstrations. So that could be another reason as to why people have been running with the police there, and they are telling the police that even your children, your wives need a humble tax payment. And another reason it could be because of the previous public participation. Members of the public, civil society, the church or the clergy, the unions have been participating in giving ideas on how the budget ought to be made. But at the end of the day, they find the CS has done his own things. Not even one of the noble ideas that had been suggested has been implemented. However, under this, I normally say public participation is normally meant to give a wider perception to the committee to think of what could be the best idea, to open up their minds. It's not that what you have suggested will be the answer. What about if you have suggested about 1,000? You have given 1,000 suggestions. So it's an eye-opener for them to use your knowledge to stand on it and come up with the very best of budget. But they ignore. They have crossed their mind towards what they want, and maybe they just want stones. And they are being shown bread. Could be that's why they are putting taxes on bread, heavy taxation, so that people can eat stones. And also, today we have an hopelessness society. Most people are jobless. The budget as it is today is simply a current budget. Actually, we are giving money to pay salaries, the national government and the county governments, and just a few projects. Making it worse, there is no money or budget set aside for these young people. Normally, when there is such an employment, there are some jobs given to these young people so that they can at least have money to pay for the heavy chapter 6 requirements, because when looking for employment we have so much impediments like chapter 6 requirements, which are more expensive than the letter that people were putting under stamps. Today we have even non-refundable fee. So they need some simple jobs to keep them busy before they get any meaningful employment, or they get a better direction or realization of their life. So they are free. I don't rule out that some of them have been funded to go there. They can be funded because they don't have money, and you have a source of a day for a day. You will just be funded and be told by that person who is funding you that you go there peacefully, don't carry stones, so that you don't have any conflict with the police. So that could be another reason. Hopelessness society. People have been made to be hopeful. Without food, people are straining, people have resulted to evils. Most importantly are the promises that were made by the UDA government, which are making it to be unpopular day after day. Today, Kenyans don't want to be told that we have set up a budget, a site to construct this. Kenyans want to be told we set a budget, we allocated this amount for this project which is ongoing. Because today if you tell them we have set out or we have allocated funds, they will even slap you. They will want you to say that I allocated 20 billion for the construction of this road. So those are some of the reasons as to why the citizens were fighting throughout the day with the police. What should be done now? In case there are changes on the budget in support of the citizens, the chairman of parliamentary finance committee should make arrangement in advance. This issue that has come out, that you just announce 2 minutes to, will always get you in the wrong corners. It will always squeeze you to corners. And the government maybe communicated the other day that this is what we have done. These peaceful young men who are demonstrating, women and even old who are demonstrating, could have not maybe been there, or they could be there giving some more demands which may not be as serious as they were. So the government should know how to communicate with these people, not a haphazardly communication, which has now dominated even the cabinet. The other day, the CS for Education just made an announcement past 12, and the following day, the children were already in school. And another CS also did threaten one of the officers in Western, and they said it is a whole government approach. If it is a government approach, why can't they organize? Why can't they give it an approach to such a pertinent issues, because they come from somewhere and they understand everything? what the citizens want, so that it doesn't reach a situation whereby a good number of people are demonstrating. No, it is good to demonstrate, but it should be a few, because people will never be satisfied with what you come out. But it should not be the entire, actually it is the entire nation that today was demonstrating. Even if you can look at the police, they were very peaceful. They were also demonstrating. They were very jovious, because they knew they are also victims. But they only wanted to maintain peace, to see that property is properly protected. If the Inspector General did not realize that even the police were on demonstration, he should look at that. They were very peaceful. They were only executing tear gas, the jokes, the always jokes, so that at least there is peace and no large crowd comes to destroy and property, because the larger the crowd, the unmanageable it is. My names are Machuka Nyarieko. I've come to the conclusion of this presentation, and I will kindly request those who have come across this channel for the first time, or those who have not subscribed, to kindly subscribe, so that we continue enjoying these noble ideas. This is literally the house of ideas. Thank you.